Welcome back to the VIP seat. So today's episode is going to be all about the coveted empty leg seat. How can you, private jet flyer, take advantage of these deals? Or if you're someone who doesn't fly privately, how can you get on a jet for a fraction of the price? Let's dive into it. So one thing that's really important to keep in mind is that empty legs are a very non-refundable item. And the reason empty legs exist in the first place is because private jet operators, they travel all over the place. Generally, a lot of repositioning of the airplanes are involved. Sometimes almost 50% of the flights that a private jet flies are empty. Operators are always trying to fill these legs to reduce costs, and they give people really good deals on these legs to take advantage of them. Now, when I say non-refundable, I really mean non-refundable. You have to look very carefully at the terms that you agree to, because even in situations where you have a family emergency or other things happen, that operator has planned on you being on that airplane for another client's flight, so you really don't have a choice but to pay it even if there's some emergency that you have to cancel. So as long as you're willing to accept the potential payout, you can really get a great price on these flights. Now the next question is, where do you find an empty leg flight and how do you get that deal? There's a couple different ways of doing this. Number one would be to look at operations that are potentially near the routes that you want to go to. So say you fly from Naples to New York often, you might talk to some local operators in the New York area and in the Naples area to say, hey, I do this trip. I'm flexible on my days and times. I can go to different airports. Keep me on your list and let me know if something comes up. Some modern operators also have email opt-in systems. So you go to their website and you say, hey, sign me up for this empty leg that's coming up, or send me an alert when you get one. So you can either reach out directly or do it the old school way and pick up the phone, give them a call, and they'd be happy to kind of keep you on their list as things come up. Now, the other way to do this, which may be a little more efficient and take less of your time, but slightly more expensive, potentially, is to go to a charter broker. Now, charter brokers, while they don't own their airplanes, they are constantly monitoring the activities of the air charter market. So there are lots of industry web boards that they can look through and try to find a leg for you. There's also a bit of a premium on this option. So whatever price the operator gives the broker, they're gonna have to add their own fee onto it. So you can certainly ask the broker, what fee are you charging, or what they think is reasonable, but it can be a lot of time savings, and this is something that they're a lot better at than the just charter consumer that goes out there and doesn't really know any operators. So the last option, there's a lot of new websites coming out that are trying to aggregate all of this empty leg data. Some successful, some not. There's varied participation across the board, so there may be a good number of operators that do kind of push their information to these systems and then some that don't. The problem is there's no real system like the airlines have to aggregate flight information from the 2,000 operators that are in the United States. So this can be kind of hit or miss. I've never personally tried it, but I do know there's a lot of companies out there trying to do this well. So something I'm always hyper aware of is to remember that you do get what you pay for. So don't always go for the cheapest deal. Make sure that you are really evaluating the airplane that you're flying on, the trustworthiness of the operator, what kind of safety ratings they might have. You need to make sure that you trust who you're flying with and not just be tempted by a really good price to get somewhere easily. Private aircraft are not the time that you want to try to save as much money as possible. You want to get a good price, but you also don't want to sacrifice safety. The day has come and you have this empty leg trip booked. Now, keep in mind, in addition to the non-refundable issues, there could always be delays in other things. You were kind of the bottom of the totem pole potentially when it comes to this flight because another client has already previously booked this and you're the one that's getting the good deal. So there could be unforeseen delays that occur. You just need to be prepared to be very flexible and know that you're not kind of paying the premium price for this trip. So you kind of might get stuck with whatever is left over. You can still request, the private jet experience, have those catering on board, bring your pets, all the things that are great about flying private, you can still expect from it. Just be prepared that unforeseen issues do happen and it can happen to you. So if you have any recommendations, make sure to leave them in the comments below. Like and subscribe, share with your friends, and I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you next time on the VIP seat.